Welcome back to Switch to Linux. This is the weekly news roundup privacy edition. And today we're going to be talking about some exciting privacy news. But first, if you want to help support the channel and you're a person who needs a VPN, and not everybody does, but if you are a person who needs a VPN, definitely consider using my affiliate link for Nord, tlm.li/Nord. So with Nord, you can connect up to 6 devices simultaneously on your single account, so you won't have to worry about sharing those logins. And your devices, they can be used on servers all around the world. And this is not a company that is based in the Five Eyes. So if that is important to you, consider using my Nord affiliate link to pick up Nord VPN. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jive on over into the news. I think I said jive on over into the news. Something's not jiving, yo. All right, so guys, everyone's getting in on the act, and Facebook just couldn't help it. So yes, Facebook has also paid contractors to subscribe users' audio chats. So what is this? This is Apple, this is Google, this is Microsoft, as we learned last week. This was Amazon. Which was the first? I forgot. But now basically all of the big companies are out there. And now we just need, Samsung's just going to be like, guys, we need to hire some contractors quick to start transcribing data because we can't be left behind. I mean, come on. People are already ripping on us. We can't possibly be the only guy that's not having our stuff transcribed. So again, of course, as soon as this comes out, Facebook's like, oh my, we stopped doing that because they did. And then, of course, they said in here, hey, we only did this if you selected to, if you've selected. The company said users that were affected chose the option in Facebook Messenger app to have their voice chats transcribed. Anyone out there still using Facebook that actually had that checkmark transcribed? There's just another thing that just kind of threw on there last minute, never told anybody about it, so nobody knew to go and check it out. That is exciting. There's kind of a related news to this. I didn't include it in the news, but it's worth mentioning just here briefly in passing. Facebook is starting a bunch of cyber cafes where you can go in and they'll give you free coffee if you sit down and walk through your Facebook settings with them. I guess that's an okay thing. But anyway, these contractors that were transcribing these Facebook messengers were told, we're not told where they grabbed this audio data from. They were just told to transcribe it. And they're like, oh, some of it's bad language and naughty stuff. And so, of course, all of these guys, Facebook's like, all right, guys, we stopped. We stopped doing this. This is just crazy. We stopped. I mean, now the article says Google stopped. No, Google only said they stopped in the EU because of the GDPR. They didn't say they stopped everywhere else. Apple said they stopped. Facebook, like, we stopped. Amazon's like, we stopped. But Microsoft doubled down, people. Microsoft doubled down. They doubled down. I'm telling you, what does this mean? Well, Microsoft says, yes, humans emit to Skype, and we are going to update our privacy policies to reflect that. Google stopped in some places. Apple stopped. Facebook stopped. Facebook stopped. Microsoft doubled down. They said, oh yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. And we're not putting it in our privacy policy, so you know we're doing it. We're passing this stuff on over to human beings. We will have them all. All right, guys, this is crazy. All right, so of course, Microsoft comes out and says, oh yeah, we're doing this. And oh, you don't like that? So here's Microsoft's new privacy statement. And if we come on down here to the bottom, we just have to look for the word here, human. Our processing of personal data for these purposes includes both automated and manual, parenthesis, human methods of processing. Yes, they are using our personal data. Facebook stopped. Apple stopped. Amazon, I think, stopped. Google at least stopped over there in the EU. Microsoft doubled down. Yeah, we're doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to harvest all your data, and there's nothing you can do because we own the computer world. So, yes, Microsoft has indeed doubled down. They are still listening. They're going to continue still listening, and there's nothing you can do about it if you keep using Microsoft products because they have informed you in their privacy policies that they are doing this. So guys, switch to Linux. Will you just switch to Linux? Come on. Oh boy. How to sync all your fitness activities with Google Fit. Guys, do I need to remind you that Google is trying to launch an entire group, an entire thing where they're collecting all of your data. They're trying to start up medical groups. They're starting to do AI. and they're starting to work with some kind of not as good companies in the background to do all this stuff. You do not need, like, read this article, guys, just so you know what not to do with your Android and Google devices. All right, syncing all of your fitness activities with Google Fit. You don't want to sync your Google activities with Google Fit, people. You don't want to. This is insanity. Stop. We need to stop doing this stuff. Stop doing this stuff. But anyway, hey, if you're doing Run Keeper, you can keep all your settings in here. Keep it all, turn it all on. This is all great. Come on, nothing to see here. Just turn it all on. Give all your health data to Google. Help the future AIs of all insanity destroy the world by collecting all your health data and then selling it to your insurance company so they jack up your premiums like there's no tomorrow, because it's all for the betterment and a better user experience. Don't do this, people. Go through this article, flip through this, and make sure every one of these things is the opposite thing as what they're telling you to do in this article, because we don't need to be sharing that data. All right, this one here, I don't know if they're collecting the data here, but it's definitely an interesting fringe case that I said, a little terry. So this actually comes directly from Apple's newsroom site. So Apple is bringing contactless student IDs on iPhone and Apple Watch to more universities. So now I think they said they have about 100 or so universities, 100,000 college students or so. A great number of universities are now starting to do this, where they're syncing their student ID system with the contactless pay section in Apple's devices. Of course, the idea here is to make things more convenient for you, that you can just leave your whole wallet at home. Of course they want you to leave your wallet at home. So if you're out and you want to buy your frou-frou cappuccino for way too much money at Stardies, you know. I was trying to come up with a bad name for Starbucks. Couldn't come up with one. Go to Starbucks. You have to use Apple Pay. So this is a way for Apple to make it much more convenient for the student to just keep their ID and their wallets and their cash and their credit cards and other stuff at home and just use everything with their Apple device. You know, you may as well just buy everything, use this. Of course, this will tie into the student, the student payment methods. So here at Penn State, we have Lion Cash. You know, you fill it up there, which of course now it just directly automates. You filled it up when I was in grad school. And then, you know, now it'll just directly tie to a card or an account or something. You just go by and swoop, 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 swoop. All sorts of places in town. Just deduct, and you never know what you're doing. And so at the end of the month, you know, Apple's going to collect huge amounts of royalties off of you. They're trying to make it very convenient. But the greater privacy risk here is that with this type of system, Apple can now track your use and your movements around campus and the surrounding communities. And that's why I put it in the facial news, or excuse me, in the privacy news. I'm not quite sure what's going on with all of this stuff here. It's just something to keep an eye on. And I'd say, if you're a student, don't do this. Keep your ID. Keep your college stuff and your ID stuff and your life off of all these tech platforms. This is what they want. They want to merge everything into one simple point. And then, of course, what happens if you lose your phone? What happens when you're out and about and you drop your phone in the toilet? How you getting around? How you paying when you don't have all your stuff? Guys, carry your IDs with you. We do not need to get to the world where we stop carrying our ID and we stop carrying our money with us. Disconnect yourself from this type of stuff. Just be warned. All right. Facial recognition tech misidentified 26 California lawmakers. This has to do with an ACLU lawsuit to attempt to ban facial recognition on body cameras in California. So when they did the test, this was the same exact test that was used against the Congress last year, which said, oh, there's all these criminals. Like, yeah, but there's all these guys that didn't identify as criminals. See, the thing has too many false negatives, and they're all in Congress. Just lock them all up, you know. But anyway, this says 26 California law members were flagged as criminals. And they even said more than half of those falsely identified as people of color. Guys, I'm looking at this list here. I don't see a lot of people of color on this. I'm sorry, I don't. But it doesn't matter if it's people of color or not. Their point here is correct. One false match is too many. You get to a case where the body cam footage thinks you're a criminal. They tie you all up. That gets all mixed up, and now you can't even find a job because everyone looks you up and says, Oh, you're a criminal now. So this kind of thing happened up in Erie just recently. A judge was found to have accidentally filed over 3,000 civil cases as criminal cases. So literally people who had paid a fine for an overdue library book got filed as a criminal charge. And they kept now failing criminal lawsuit or criminal background checks for employment and things like this. Rejected employment because a judge was stupid and didn't file the cases right. Okay, this is the type of thing that'll start to happen if facial recognition is allowed onto police body cameras, especially since they do not work with the group of people that tends to have more crime associated with it. That's not me being mean or racist. That's actual scientific evidence demonstrates that. You don't like it, go take it up with the scientists who published the study. All right. But at the same token, any one of those that was falsely identified, no matter what their color, what their race, what their socioeconomic status is way too much. And so ACLU is trying to say, hey, we need to stop with the body or the facial recognition on body cameras. And that's kind of what they're trying to do. So this is AB 1215. So they have a bill going through this. So if it becomes through California, it will be the largest state to pass it. Both New Hampshire and Oregon have banned facial recognition for police tools as well. And this is something we really need to do. All right, on to our feature story for tonight. Major breach found in biometric system used by banks, United Kingdom police, and defense firms. So this is a company, I think the service actually is called BioStar. The company is Suprema. So this is a company that has sold all of these biometric locks and all these super secure biometric entry passwords into various buildings, military things, police things, of course, bank things, all these things that would provide the good facial scanning and facial IDs. What ended up happening is the data was stored in an unencrypted database online that was open access to the internet. 1 million fingerprints, facial recognition information, unencrypted usernames and passwords, and personal information of employees was discovered on a publicly accessible database for a company used by UK Metro Police, defense contractors, and banks. Oh, joy. So the company responsible for the BioStar 2 system allowed centralized control for access to secure facilities like warehouses and office buildings. They use fingerprints and facial recognition as part of a means for identifying people attempting to gain access. So they announced the platform was integrated into another access control system, AOS, used by 5,700 organizations in 83 countries, including governments, banks, and police. Israeli security researchers working with VPN Mentor, a service that reviews virtual private network privacies, have been running a side project to scan ports looking for familiar IP blocks. All right, so they found holes in the company's systems that could potentially lead to breaches. So they found the database was unprotected and mostly unencrypted. They were able to search the database, manipulating the URL search criteria in Elasticsearch to gain access to the data. So the researchers had access to 27.8 million records, 23 gigabytes worth of data, including administration panels, dashboards, fingerprint data, facial recognition data, face photos of users, unencrypted usernames and passwords, logs of facility access, security levels and clearance, and personal details on staff. A security company unencrypting your database and making it publicly accessible via search queries on the internet. Guys, you can change your password, you can't change your biometrics. This is why it's such a huge, crazy, massive deal that likes as Microsoft keep on attempting to push us to get rid of those pesky passwords, use your biometrics instead. No, I can change my password when some fool does not encrypt a database. This stuff is permanently out in the open. Sorry. Guys, stop using biometric stuff for anything. Nothing. Even if it allegedly stays on the phone, even if it's allegedly just a unique hash, don't use it. Don't get used to it. Just don't. This is the type of stuff that's happening. So be wary. Be wary. Biometric data. Even security companies are woefully incompetent when it comes to security. That's why I just absolutely blatantly laugh when I hear a company like, but it's secure data. Yeah, right. Go tell DEF CON it's secure. Somebody in there will figure it out. Well, let me know what you think about all of these articles in the comments down below.